Hello, I'm Janusz Rawiński and this is Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you all you need to know. A secret document leaked from the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs outlines the mechanism the Kremlin seeks to use to destabilize the United States and the West. Moscow, according to Mikhail Khodorkovsky, will spare no effort in trying to knock Washington out of its leading position internationally. To that effect, Russia continues with its imperialist designs in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. And also, it starts openly taking positions against US allies around the world. Now, the document may have been classified, but the leak didn't tell us anything we didn't know already. Russia has its secrets, but its politics and propaganda efforts are out in the open, and predictably so. According to Microsoft analysts, fake accounts tied to Russia have been conducting disinformation efforts aimed at persuading ordinary Americans that further support for Ukraine is pointless. The operations included shaping voter opinions and preferences ahead of the presidential elections later this November. Now, in the document in question, the Russian Foreign Ministry accuses the West and the US of pursuing policies designed to entrench Western hegemony and fighting Russia in a hybrid war. Yes, the West fighting Russia, not, the other way around. All this tells us that there is little actual difference between classified higher-level government documents and the scripts for shows hosted by the likes of Solovyov or Skabeyeva on Russian state television. And since we're on the subject of proxies, here is the president of a country that's been reduced to little more than a Russian proxy, trying to flex his muscles. At a military parade held to celebrate the Islamic Republic of Iran Army Day, Ebrahim Raisi said that even the tiniest military action by Israel will bring a massive and harsh response. Raisi added that Saturday's attack was limited and that if Iran actually unleashed its full potential, Israel would have been wiped off the map. Hamid Vahedi, the commander of Iran's Air Force, added his 2 cents, warning Israel against doing anything that could bring upon it the full wrath of the Iranian military. So, let's take a look now at the footage from a parade showing this scourge of the Middle East in action.
خونی سوارند دیدن تا حاضر عکس زیبای شهدا باشند.
Truth be told, given what we've seen so far in these clips, it doesn't seem that Israel has that much to fear. All we've seen were decrepit trucks and a couple of parade regiments rolling across a road that's more or less falling apart. By the way, you remember the Ministry of Silly Walks? Anyone? Anyway, the only flash of modernity came with the appearance of a couple of gifts that Tehran received from its patrons in Moscow, the S-200 and the S-300 air defense systems.
هستند هر جا اقتدار به چشم می آید حاضرند جلگه های فراخ جنگل های انبوه کوهستان های صعب العبور مرداد سامانه موشکی برد متوسط راهکنشی سامانه موشکی برد متوسط راهکنشی صیاد از نیروی پدافند هوایی ارتش جمهوری اسلامی ایران ایرانند در میدان مشق حماسه و جهاد و ایثار به فرزندان خود در سازمان کلمه طیبه ارتش بمانید و آسوده خاطر باشید که این جوانان و سربازان جانبرکف دیده به آسمان سامانه موشکی برد بلند سکوی پرتاب موشک S-200
I mean, we know that Iran has formidable missile forces, right? However, the presentation definitely gives us a budget North Korea kind of vibe. Also, nothing, I mean nothing, is going to beat Alexander Lukashenko's special forces showing off their skills by smashing asbestos roof tiles with their foreheads. Anyway, moving on now to France, which is slowly losing ground in Africa to Russia, which means that it had to do something, and it has decided to bite back where Russia has been feeling vulnerable lately. Under Nikol Pashinyan, Armenia, the place in question has been pursuing a policy of resolving old quarrels and embracing historic compromises. Yerevan did not intervene when Azerbaijan moved to seize Nagorno-Karabakh, all the while lamenting Russian indifference to the matter. And this week, the Russians began withdrawing their troops stationed in Azerbaijan. And one should probably say good riddance, Russian peacekeepers. Probably off to play finders keepers with household appliances in occupied Ukraine, because this is what Russians do. Anyway, as soon as President Macron sensed Russia growing weak over there, he pounced. As a certain character in The Matrix once said, quite fittingly with a thick French accent, "Cause and effect, my love." Now, at the trilateral US-EU-Armenia summit on the 5th of April, a military pact was signed behind closed doors. That's according to Azerbaijani Telegram channel called Caliber, citing a document outlining the 20-point agreement, covering areas like military assistance and training for Armenian units, as well as intelligence and counterintelligence staff. Wow. Just wow. Bombed to smithereens day in and day out. Ukraine has been begging wherever it can for assistance to help defend itself from Russian savagery. Both France and Germany talk the talk, but when it comes to walking the walk, they don't exactly deliver. And Washington keeps talking about taxpayer money at every turn. Do these countries really have to get involved in the dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan, of all things? If both countries have been reaffirming their will to continue the peace process, is there any point to spending millions to arm one of them only because the Armenian diaspora in France wield a considerable influence? I mean, the questions may seem rhetorical, but they have to be asked nonetheless. On the 17th of April, Wednesday, exactly, explosions were recorded in the Crimean city of Jankoy, near a military airfield where the 39th Helicopter Regiment of the 27th Mixed Aviation Division of the Russian Armed Forces is usually stationed. If you're wondering who's behind the blasts, we have an answer. Later that same evening, President Zelensky confirmed in his nightly address that it was the armed forces of Ukraine that carried out the airfield strike. Then, the main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine reported that the operation successfully destroyed or critically damaged 4 S-400 missile launchers, 3 radar stations, and an air defense command post. In other words, it's a lot of money. Moreover, the Institute for the Study of War reported a rumor allegedly spread by a Kremlin-linked media blogger. So what's he saying, you may ask? Well, according to him, Ukrainian forces used about 12 MGM-140 ATACMS missiles to target the airfield. And meanwhile, the draft bill on aid to Ukraine, worth $60 billion, was finally brought to the floor in the US House of Representatives. The document says that once the bill is signed into law, the US president is to deliver ATACMS missiles to Ukraine, provided that their transfer will not harm US national security interests. So, we guess this means we should expect the Russians to see more bavovna in the coming days or weeks. At least we hope so. And not just because Marjorie Taylor Greene, the most radical of the MAGA faction in Congress, has reinforced her own living meme status by introducing a bunch of ridiculous amendments in the hope of derailing the bill. This, is unlikely to make any difference. However, the provided that the transfer will not harm US national security interests line, now that sounds like an appeaser's paradise. I sincerely hope that I'm wrong on that one. After all, we love a good bavovna, and we want more of that. And with this, we end this episode of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.